Yee, it's your boy Gruff here, back with another video, and today I got another video, guys, man. Today we're going to be making a Dragon Ball Legends Ultimate PvP guide. Now, if you guys have been in my stream, you guys know that this was a video that I've been, trying to work on for like the past week or so, right? It took a lot of time to do this, bro. I honestly thought it was gonna be a lot easier, but like there was just so much stuff. I was getting so many like video errors and videos were getting deleted and stuff, so it took a lot longer to make and everything. But yeah, I'm making this video because this game is growing, right? From this Legends Festival, there's a lot of people that joined this game. Actually, from the 3rd anniversary, a lot of people are joining this game and everything. And I've been seeing throughout the community comment sections, live stream chats and everything about like how to get good with PvP and everything. People wants to get better at PvP. People wants to rank higher and stuff like that. So I wanted to make this DBL, what I'm saying, like Ultimate PvP guys, some of the best techniques that the top players use in the world. I consider myself a top player, saying like top 1K, top 500. I know it's not like top 100 or top 10, but I think that's pretty good. I think I'm a solid player. So I wanted to make a video about that, and I kind of took like probably the most popular stuff that the top players use. I know there's like a lot of techniques that I probably might have missed, but they're just like they're so like you're so specific on certain situations that I just didn't really want to include that. And if I did include every single thing, it probably would have been like a 2-hour video, because I could have really got in depth, but that's just too much. That's just too much information. So I just kind of just took the most popular one and everything. And yeah, but without further ado, before I get to the to the techniques and everything, I do want to shout out Var and Virgil. They helped me out creating these videos with me doing the friendly matches with them, and kind of telling me what stuff to take out and put into this guide. So link to the description for both of those guys' channels is gonna be in the description. Subscribe to Virgil, get that man to 15K, and subscribe to Var, man. I think he's 5 to 6 more subs away from getting 600. So make sure you guys go and drop them some love, because without them, I wouldn't have made this video. So shout out to them. Those are my boys, right? So yeah, well, before we get to the video, I want to talk about two important things before we get into the techniques. So one is about your team. I know a lot of you new players, you guys just want to play with different teams, right? But if you want to take PvP serious, you need to really focus on one team, because a lot of you new players are most likely gonna be free to play and not gonna really spend money on this game. So what you need to do is try to look at your box right now and determine, all right, this is the team I want to make, what I'm saying? Because in the top ranks, you're going to face against, stacked out teams. You're going to face against Z plus equips, 14-star units, Zenkai 7 maxed out. You're going to face these type of teams. They're just in the game. They're in the top ranks. So I definitely think you guys need to look at your box and determine what one to two teams that you're going to main, and devote all your resources on those teams so you can max them out and get them as close to max as possible so you can compete. Because you might be a good player, but if you have like 3 stars to 6 stars units, you're most likely not going to lose. You're most likely going to lose because your units is not maxed out. So definitely pick 1 to 2 teams to max out. Devote all your Z power, equipment, resources, everything onto those teams, erasers onto those teams, so that team can be really maxed out and you can compete in the top ranks. Now another thing is also understanding units kits. Now you definitely, of course, your main team, you definitely need to know their kits, right? Like that's important, like so you can win the matches. But you also need to understand the opponent's kits as well. What I'm saying? Like just for example, say you're a God Key main and there's like a new fusion unit that comes out. You need to know their kits, right? Because not everyone is going to main Gaki, right? There's different different teams that people mains, right? Like, so you might face a Gaki, a fusion main with that new fusion unit, and you got to understand their kits, because you might be seeing them everywhere. You got to understand the pros and cons of what that unit can do, so you can counter them and try to win the game. Because if you don't know these other units kits, you have the chance of losing, bro. So you got to understand units kits, every unit kits that comes out, if you really want to compete, because you're going to face different teams, bro. So you got to understand your own team's kit and the other opponent's kits, units kits as well. So yeah, that's pretty much me done with this intro. Let's hop into the PvP stuff. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. road to 4K, man. I don't see nobody dropping no PvP Ultimate God like this. So yeah, let's get into the techniques. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is sidestep. So basically, sidestep is basically every time you use a card, you dash up and you sidestep. So you guys see here what Piccolo doing right here is he's chaining cards by sidestepping. So sidestepping, what it can do, it can really prolong combos. Say for example, you have units in that has low, that has like their sub count, and you kind of want to buy time. Sidestep, it really helps for you to chain combos and really getting Dragon Ball super fast. So what you want to do here is every time you use a strike card, you want to dash up forward and then sidestep. So you will dash up forward like this, and then you'll go to the right or to the left, and then you'll do that repeatedly. Now, you could sidestep a strike card into a blast card, and you can sidestep a blast card into a strike card. You can sidestep a blast card to a blast card, and you can sidestep a strike card to a strike card. What you cannot do is you cannot sidestep um, a strikers card to a blue card or a blast card to a blue card, because if you do that, then it's going to drop your combo, and then your enemy can react to that, and they can sidestep away from it and they can counter you. So basically, you cannot sidestep into a blue card because of that reason right there. So don't do that. Strike to strike, strike to blast, blast to blast, blast to strike. You can't strike into a green card as well because it does not work as well. So once again, you want to dash up and dash forward. Like I said, it can chain to a strike, strike to a blast, blast to a strike, and a blast to a blast. So yeah, that's really it with the with the sidestepping thing. Hope you guys and learn a little bit about sidestep right there, because it's really good. It's a really good technique, and I think it's really amazing, because it buys a ton of time. You do a really long combo, you can farm Dragon Balls with it. So yeah, it's really good combo. It's really easy to do, and like I said, you want to slide up, you want to slide forward, and then go up, because it's gonna be hard for the enemy, for them to counter it with their cover change unit. So doing a sidestep instead of just doing 4 strike cards in a row without doing no sidestep is easier. It's harder for them to counter. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Let's get on to the next technique. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna learn about is charge stepping. Now, charge stepping is basically when you're basically doing what Rose is doing right there. He's charging and then he attacks. Instead of you sidestepping, you're charging a little bit, then you're attacking. So with charge stepping, what the benefit of that is that every time you charge step, you're getting key back, and you're also going to be able to get more cards off of it as well, besides sidestep. So now you guys see here how to do the charge stuff. It's a really difficult timing. When you first try it out, if you guys are new to the game and you're trying this charge step, your timing might be really bad. So it's kind of hard for me to explain the timing, but basically when you land a blast card, right, you can do it with a blast or a strike. A strike card is on the left, is like you hold down for a little bit less than a blast card. But what you do is you'll sidestep. Say for example, you land a card, say you land a blast, you scoot up with your hands, right, and then you'll hold the screen just for a little bit, right, just for a little bit. Don't hold it for too long, because if you hold it for too long, then the combo will consider drop, and then your enemy can evade it. So what you got to do is you got to attack, then slide up, and then hold, and then use the card that's available in your deck again, and then do rinse and repeat. Now this is going to be very hard to do. It's going to take a ton of time to learn, but be prepared to fail when you first do it, because when I first started doing it, it's really I did terrible, not gonna lie. But you gotta just keep playing with it, keep practicing with it. So like I said, basically as soon as you use a strike, as soon as you use a card, right, dash forward and then just hold your screen just for a little bit so you can charge. Just like how like you charge the key like regularly in the game, just like that, but just don't charge it for way too long, and eventually you'll get the timing down. It's really hard for me to explain the timing, but you want to go up, hold, and then click your card, go up, hold, next, go up, hold, next, and stuff like that. Now for a strike card is basically the same thing, but you got to hold it for even less than what you do for a blast card, because if you hold it for the same time as you did for the blast card, it's going to combo drop again. So for a strike one, it's basically the same thing, but when you hold it, you got to hold it less, like even less than compared to what you did with the blast card. So that's really it for sidestep. I mean, not sidestep, but charge step right there. Let's hop on to the next technique. Okay, the next technique we're gonna be learning about is time stop. Now, time stop is arguably one of the most powerful things in the game. Now, the reason why time stopping is really good is because when you do a time stop thing, you can basically stop the game. It kind of, like, it stops for like a cool, 1 to 2 seconds. It can make you, think before what you do. You can kind of see, you can kind of frame trap what your opponent is doing when you do a time stop. So how do you do a time stop? Now, a time stop is, you can do it from two things. You can do it off a green card, and you can do it off a main ability. Now, for the green card, it's really tricky because not every unit has the same green card. The green card I'm talking about is when, a green card, like, say for example, like, you charge up. Say for example, like, you pop a green, you charge up, or they're doing like this little effect thing for them to boost all their attribute upgrades. There's other green cards, like, say for example, like Bojack, where they use a green card and they dash forward, so they won't be able to have that time stop event. Or there's another type of green card, like an AoE green card, where say, like, for example, like UI Goku, he does an AoE green card, and he can, get you trapped there, and then he can counter you there. He won't be able to have a time stop. Or there's other green cards, like a counter green card, like, say for example, like Zenkai Green Broly, when he pop his. Those type of green cards cannot do the time stop. The only one that can do it is when they pop the green card, and you see them, like, do the little animation for them to get their Vanish gauge, or not their Vanish gauge, but just get some, like, attribute upgrades and stuff like that. Now, for the main ability, anybody can get, this time stop thing for the main ability, because all it does is when you pop the main ability, you stop, you can see what your opponent is doing. So the main ability is really better than a green card, because not every unit in the game has the exact same type of green card, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So the reason why the time stop is really good is you can catch your opponent, say for example, sidestepping. So if you see them sidestepping when you pop the main ability, it'll frame trap. It'll like the whole gameplay will stop, and you can kind of see, like, hey, my opponent is about to do this, I can counter him with this, right? So you guys are seeing in this example, when I pop my main ability, I can see my opponent tackling me, so I can instantly pop a strike card, or a card like a strike or a ult card, and do a ton of damage. Now, you can do a ton of things. Say for example, like a rising rush, you can do all these certain things, right? Like, say for example, you see them sidestepping or tackling you, you can counter it also all these certain ways, right? And it's a really powerful technique, and you really don't want to get caught in a time stop, because it's so powerful and it can really change the game. So arguably one of the most powerful techniques. Definitely try to avoid these type of things. In certain scenarios, you're gonna find out when people are using them. Like, say for example, after they land a combo, they might do it. Or say for example, they evade your attack, and they're trying to just get you to vanish, so they usually pop their main ability or their green card right there, just to see what you're doing, and all these type of stuff. So when you play PvP, you're gonna understand there's gonna be some common places where people usually use their time stop abilities, so they can try to capture you. Learn those. Don't try to fall for the bait, and also prioritize your time stop abilities, because that can really change the game. So let's hop into the next technique. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is long combos. Now, or combo reduction. Now, what I mean by this is combo reduction is when you do a combo for a very long time. You change so many cards together that over time your damage is actually going to do less and less. The reason for that is because there's a lot of units that can do really long combos, and if the damage was the same throughout each card they use, it'll actually be kind of like ridiculous, like how powerful the combo drop is. So for that, it's like, hey, if you do a really long combo, you can have a higher chance of getting your Dragon Balls. You can do more damage. You can do all these other things, but you can actually lower your ally sub count if you do a really long combo. But the the thing that's going to be bad is that you're not going to do as much damage the longer the combo does. So you guys can see, for example, here. See, for example, like how Rose and DKP does is really like DKP and then the Red Pack with Piccolo do this really long combo, right? They do a really long combo, and it's really good. It's really dope that you get to see this really long combo. But you know when I do this really long combo, it's not gonna really do that much damage. So it has some really good incentives where like I said, like you can have a higher chance of getting all your Dragon Balls quicker, so you can get to your Rise and Rush really quickly. You can say for example you can reduce enemies I mean your ally sub count. You can really buy a lot of time with it as well, which is really good. But like I said, you're going to risk a lot of damage that you could have done. So if you probably ended the combo a lot sooner and you probably was able to get another combo, you could do a lot more damage than actually doing like this really long one combo instead of doing like maybe two short combos that will do more damage than that really long combo. So although doing a really long combo is really dope to see, you're hurting, you're doing like less damage to the enemy. And yeah, so that's pretty much it with that. I just want to let you guys know that don't really want to do too much of a crazy long combo, because you're just not going to get that much damage output as long as the combo keep getting longer and longer. So hope you guys understand about combo reduction. Not really a PvP technique, but I kind of just want to tell you guys just about it. Just just if you guys are noticing, like I'm doing this long combo, but like my damage is not really doing as much over time. It's because of the combo reduction. So yeah, let's hop into the next thing. Okay, for the next step that we're going to learn is we're going to be learning about tackle. Now, tackle, there's a lot of different things about tackle that I want to cover. I think there's three parts that I want to cover. First is about tackle. First is tackle counter, and then tackle bait. Now, for tackling, what you do for tackle is the only way for you to proc this tackle thing is you got to be in the mid-range area for you to tackle. So what tackling does is say you tackle opponent, you can bait out their Vanish, and then once you bait out their Vanish, then you can attack them, right? So it's not that bad. I think it's really good for when you know that your opponent doesn't have any strike, like any cards in their hands, or they have a ton of blast cards in their hands, so they can't really counter you. Now tackling is really good, but it also comes with some consequences. Saying if you do tackle or not a lot, then your opponent can start to catch on what you like to do, and they can counter you. Now you guys can see here when I do use a tackle, the opponent can actually counter it if they time it. If they have a quick reaction for you seeing you tackling, they can actually counter you, and they can actually give you damage instead of you baiting out their Vanish and everything. So with tackle, it's really good to bait out their Vanish, but like I said, if you're playing a really good player that has really quick reaction time, they can counter you as well. So that's also a really good thing. Now, if you're playing against players that has a really bad timing, say for example they react super late, they can counter you, but you can actually counter them back as well. You can do like a counter for them. So say for example you tackle them, right? They see you tackling late, so they're like, oh shoot, like he's tackling me, let me use a strike. But they react too late. You can actually evade out of there before they actually land their card against you, and then you can actually attack them. So yeah, that's what tackling is about. Like I said, tackling is a really good technique, but don't overuse it, because like I said, if you're playing against a really good player that can really catch on to the stuff that you like to do, tackling does have some great rewards. Don't use it a ton of times because they can catch on. Definitely don't use it a ton of times. Use it when you know that your opponent doesn't have no cards left, or they have a ton of blast cards, and always be prepared to to counter them, because if they tackle you, you want to have a quick reaction to counter them. And you also say for example they have a late reaction, you can evade as well. So that's pretty much everything to know about tackle. Let's hop into the next technique. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is combo drop. Now, combo drop is a really good technique. Like I said, like all these techniques are very good. Now, combo drop is, very interesting because, it's a high risk, high reward play. Now, what I mean by that is, if you combo drop, you're basically risking the chance of your opponent being able to dodge you, and they be able to land their own combo against you. But if you do land a combo drop correctly, you can reduce the combo reduction, the long combo reduction that we talked about earlier, and you can start a new combo and do a ton more damage that way. Now, combo dropping is really good to say, for example, when you're dealing with units that has cover change. Now, you guys should know what cover change is. Cover change is where units have, ability. Say, for example, you land a strike. Some units have strike cover change where they can kind of like, neglect your strike card, and they can kind of counter it with their strike cover, and then they can, land a blue card or something like that for you to stop your combo. Or say, for example, like blast cover change. If you lose a blast on a unit that has a blast cover change, they can do the exact same thing with the strike cover change, but for blast cards, and they can kind of, stop your combo there. There's also units that have universal cover change, like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, or Super Saiyan God Vegeta, or UI Goku. Those type of units that has universal cover change, so they, universal cover change against strike and blast cards. So you want to kind of use those type of, combo drops for those, against cover changing units, because you don't want your combo to stop. And those are really good. Combo drop is basically when you're doing a combo, and then you kind of just, stop your combo. Saying like you maybe do a longer pause for your sidestep, or you might overcharge on purpose, just for them to, you're predicting them to bring a unit, a cover changing unit to stop your combo. And then if you do it perfectly, you can really get a really high reward play off of it. Now, like I said, you can get a high reward play off of it, but you can also get, it's also really risky, because say, for example, you're playing a really good player, and they might be thinking, oh, he might combo drop right here, so I'm gonna actually, stay with this unit and wait for him to, try to combo drop, and I can evade and get my combo going as well. So you don't want to do the combo drop too much. You kind of want to do it every now and then, change up your play style, because if you're always doing the combo drop, people are going to understand what you like to do. They're going to understand your play style, and they can counter it. So you don't want to do it every single time, but every now and then you want to switch it up, because you can definitely get your enemy by surprise by doing that. So it's a really high risk, high reward play, but if you're able to do it against, a lot of units that has a lot of cover change, it can definitely turn out really good for you if it does land. So yeah, let's hop into the next technique. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be talking about is tap bait. Now, tap bait is actually very good. It's a really another solid technique that you guys should really know about in, Legends, you feel me? So what tap bait does is basically, you can basically tap your, if you can tap your opponent out to bait them to use their Vanish. And what you can do is, once they use their Vanish, they most likely probably might attack you, or you can just attack them immediately and get your combo going. It's really good, like for certain instances, for maybe just trying to just get rid of their Vanish. Maybe they're vanishing a lot, they don't have a lot of they don't have the sub counts for their other allies for them to come back, so they're kind of stuck with this one unit. You have a way of getting them to vanish, and then they can attack you, and then, like I said, you can counter them by sidestepping, or even attacking immediately if they're waiting for you to sidestep it as well. A little bit, right? So I go here, and like he did the thing again. Like he dropped combo again. Like I don't know why he's doing that. Like I don't know why he keep dropping. Like he sold the game twice because he did that. Like that was the reason why I believe click. Instead of you doing like the 1, 2, 3, that's like when you do it once, you probably gonna over tap, and they can actually attack you, and you won't be able to counter them. So when you do a tap bait, make sure you click this clean once, and don't click it multiple times, or else you will be over tapping, and they can actually counter that, and they can actually attack you. So when you do a tap bait, make sure you click your screen one time, and then they will do the thing. They'll do like the first tap thing. They wouldn't do the whole tap animation. They'll do like part of it. And when you do part of it, when you only do tapping one time, you'll be able to sidestep and make plays and counter your opponent for what they're about to do next to you. But if you're repeatedly tapping your screen, you won't be able to do that. You will be over tapping, and your opponent can just see what you're doing wrong. They'll be like, all right, he's over tapped, and I can still attack you. So make sure you do just tap one time, and let's hop into the next technique. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is strike cancel. So basically what strike cancel does is really to deal with people that's trying to farm for PV vanishes. Well, you guys know about PV is basically they're trying to get that perfect vanish, so that you guys won't be able to combo against them, or like not counter against them. They can get their combos for free. So what a lot of people does to deal with people that try to deal with try to perfect advantage bait you is strike cancel. Now what you do with strike cancel is say for example you go for a strike, you try to time when they're trying to try to go for that PV. You do a full range strike, but you'll see them vanish, and you can break out the strike animation and make them use their vanish while you still have your vanish, and then you can counter attack against them. It's a really good move against people that's trying to perfect vanish you. And yeah, that's pretty much it with strike cancel. You can do it, you can just do anything, but that's really the best when to use a strike cancel when people are trying to farm for that perfect vanish. So do that strike cancel, break out, make them use their vanish, and then you can keep your vanish, and then you can counter them by landing another card, because they won't be able to do nothing because they already used their vanish. So yeah, even if they switch out, they just won't have the time to do it, because you'll be already in your strike animation about to land your cards. So yeah, that's pretty much it with strike cancel. Let's hop on to the next technique. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be talking about is Blast Armor. Now, Blast Armor is very interesting. Not a lot of units have Blast Armor, right? That's based on their kit and everything that do certain units has Blast Armor. Like Ella Broly has it. Anybody else? I can think of like Jiren has it. Not every unit has Blast Armor, but if they do, it makes them very scary. Now, what Blast Armor does is basically it can nullify blast. Like what I mean by that is when they use a blast against you, they'll just go through the blast. They'll take some damage, but they'll actually be able to land a strike card compared to someone that doesn't have a Blast Armor. And you can really do some powerful things. You can actually really react a lot slower with Blast Armor because of the whole Blast Armor technique. So say for example someone uses a blast attack against you, you can kind of react late and use a strike and still be able to get your combo through. Now, that's very good. Now, there's also some ways that you can work around these type of blast armor things, like as a blast armor unit or dealing with a person that has blast armor. So to deal with people that have blast armor, one of the biggest things is to blast cancel out. Say for example like a full range attack, you go in with a blast attack and then they use their blast armor, you can hurry up and blast cancel out there, and then you'll be able to get out of there, get out of the blast animation, or else the blast armor animation, or else they're gonna hit you, right? So that's a way that you can kind of counter blast armor. And another also try to play in the full range, because blast armor is so powerful. If they always play in the mid-range area, then you won't really be able to counter them, because if you go for a tackle, they're gonna be ready for a strike. If you go for a blast, they can react late and go with a strike. So you really don't have that much options to deal with them in the mid-range area. So make sure you always play in the like the long range area against units that has blast armor. Now for people that does have blast armor units, a way that you guys can counter people that's playing long range, because they know that if you're playing the mid range you want to counter them and everything, is you can do a blast armor cancel. Now what I mean by that is, say for example the unit, the enemy, they do a blast armor, you can go in with your blast armor full range. You kind of have to time it really perfect. This is a really hard technique to do, but if you can do it, bro, you're a god. So what you do is they do a blast, you do your strike, you do your blast armor strike with your unit, and you can cancel out immediately. So basically what they do is, when they do their blast, they're going to blast cancel, right? They're going to go up and swipe out, and as soon as they do that, you strike cancel out as well. And basically they're going to use their advantage for doing that while you don't use it. So once they do that, they're not going to have advantage, and you can attack immediately against them, because they're not going to have advantage, so they won't be able to counter, and you will still have your advantage, and you can just attack them and land your combo. So that's my thing with blast armor and stuff like that. That's the way to counter it. That's the way to abuse it, right? So blast armor, make sure you play in the mid-range area, but if they do play in the full range, you can still counter it. And if you do play against blast armor, make sure you play in the full range, but make sure that they don't catch on to what you're trying to do, and don't catch your timing when you proc your cards against it. So yeah, that's pretty much it with blast armor. And let's go on to the next technique. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about regular Vanish versus perfect Vanish. Now, for regular Vanish, it's a thing where you can tell the difference between a Vanish and a perfect Vanish, and there's two different things. So a regular Vanish is basically when, say when someone tries to, tackle you or do a blast, you just vanish out the way so you don't get hit, right? But with regular vanish, they can actually counter against you. So say for example, say for example you proc it, right? You do a blast card and someone does a regular vanish, you can actually break out of your blast and you actually can tap them out. You can actually counter against that. So that's why a regular vanish is actually very good when you're prioritizing attack, because they won't be able, they can like vanish out of you, but you can still counter and counter their next counter, right? But for a perfect vanish is basically when they do a perfect vanish. You can kind of see the difference between a regular vanish and a perfect vanish is basically like when you sidestep, like the vanish animation will actually be like bigger when it's a perfect vanish than a regular vanish, right? So you kind of see, like if you guys see the video, like the video that I'm playing, first, then what I'm doing now, you guys can see the sidestep thing is a lot bigger, right? So that's what indicates a perfect vanish. And what a perfect vanish can do is you can land a combo, and the person that you PV or the enemy that PV you won't be able to counter against it. They can get a free combo out of it, and you can't do nothing about it. So perfect vanish is very, very powerful if you're able to proc it. There's ways to kind of abuse it, where there's certain scenarios, like say for example, after you're done landing a combo, you're charging, and then your enemy does attacks you instantly, then you can perfect vanish out there. That's really a good example of when to try to farm for a perfect vanish. Then there's another one where, say for example, you break out of a sidestep cancel, right? So say for example you do a sidestep and then they're trying to attack you, you can like charge up just for a little bit and then sidestep again and get another perfect vanish there. And then there's also there's some other ways of getting perfect vanish. I'm actually going to play some other clips of getting perfect vanishes in certain scenarios. Oh, another way of getting perfect vanish is off a time stop. Say for example you pop a green card or an enemy pops a green card, and someone attacks you, then you can actually proc a perfect vanish in there as well. So those are really some good examples of when to use a perfect vanish. There's also some other ways, but those are kind of like the three main ones that I can think of across my head. And yeah, so that's pretty much it with regular vanish and perfect vanish. Perfect vanish is very, very strong compared to regular vanish because you can combo and not get it can't really break out of a combo. So make sure you don't get perfect vanish, but perfect vanish your enemies and you'll be a god. So let's hop into the next technique. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna be talking about is called like the back float step technique. I kind of just made this up. I honestly really don't know like the official name for it, but this is really interesting. This is like a technique that some people does, and it's just kind of based on your play style. Now I kind of wanted to talk about this because I actually been starting to implement this in my play style, and I think it's really, really good. So basically what you do is it's kind of like after, say for example, you still have your vanish, right? You do a combo against a enemy, right? And after you're done doing your combo, instead of you tapping out or just letting them fall back to the long range area, you kind of you're about to charge step, pretend like you look like you're about to use another card, but instead after you're done doing charge step or anything, you just float back and then you just wait for them to see what they're doing. Usually this works is because it's really about emotions. Like when you get comboed, the first thing you want to do is you want to initiate attack again, right? You want to hurry up and initiate so you can try to get your combo going. So usually this happens when after you land a combo, your enemy, you're like, what, let me land my combo next. I want to attack. I want him to use advantage so I can get a combo going. So usually what happens after that, after you're done doing the combo, you just flow backwards and they'll immediately tackle right after. They might do a mid-range strike. They will do an attack immediately, and all you do is just vanish again. And if they do usually they do is a mid-range strike. And about a mid-range strike, you can't vanish off that. It's a risky reward doing a mid-range strike, especially without blast armor. There's just really no sense of doing that. But a lot of people will tackle you or do a mid-range strike after you backflow, and then you can counter and you can still do a counter another combo again. And that's because of the emotions, because they're trying to get they're trying to get another shot at getting their combo starting, and they're just flustered. So I think this is a really good technique, and I've been learning this a lot, and I think it really helps. So I kind of wanted to talk about it too. So after you're done doing a combo, instead of letting them go fall range, like just charge step and then go backwards and then just sidestep again, you can really get another perfect vanish as well from this as well. So Yeah, let's hop into the next technique. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is a long rising rush. Now, what I mean by that is like a full range rising rush. This is a very advanced technique, and it's a high risk, high reward player. If you guys watch my videos, I usually do this technique a lot. So rising rush is a very powerful thing. I mean, besides it being RNG, it's the most powerful thing that in the game. Because you can actually kill a unit full health with it, right? So this full, a lot of people use their rise and rush to say, for example, like they are in a combo and they rise and rush. But say, for example, you're trying to snipe their best player, their best unit in the game. A lot of people, say you're comboing them their best player and you use a rise and rush, they can just, combo switch out to another unit. So what this full range does is basically you can try to snipe the best unit because they're not going to be expecting you to do, when they do a full range blast attack, they're not going to really expect people to do a full range rise and rush. Now this needs really good timing because if you miss the timing just by a little bit, bro, just by a little bit, they can, vanish from that rise and rush animation, and that means you will lose your rise and rush. They will still have theirs, and you just lost your strongest, mechanic in the game to kill that best unit, and you kind of have to farm for another one and hope that RNG gives you a second rise and rush very fast. But how to use it is you kind of just have to drift, and you kind of just have to wait until you see an exclamation mark. Once you see the exclamation mark, or you see them do that blast animation attack, that instead of a tap blast, tap blast, they kind of do this with their hands like this, but for a blast one, like a full range blast, they do this. So like once you kind of see them get low, that's when you want to pop the rise and rush immediately. Now like I said, it's very high risk, high reward. If you pull it off, it's great. I use it all the time. I get a lot of high rewards off of it, but there are very now and then where I do mess up and they're able to evade off of it. So it's a very good technique. Once you get that down, bro, you can really kill like the best units, like say for example Goku Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Revive Han, all these really powerful units with these full range rise and rush, and you can kind of get rid of their best team, their best unit, and you can win the game more easily if you don't get rushed. I mean, if you don't get guessed in your rise and rush. So yeah, that's pretty much it with this little technique, and let's hop on to the next one. Okay, next thing we're going to be talking about is blast cancellation and blast matching. Now, first we're going to start off with blast canceling. Blast canceling is basically when you want to get priority over your opponent, and you want to just make them use their vanish, so you can try to attack them and make them switch to another unit, so they can just use all their vanishes, and you can hopefully be able to land a combo. Now, for blast cancellation, what you usually want to do is with a blast card, right? A full range blast card, or even a mid range one, right? What you really want to do is you want to use it to get them to use their vanish, and then you tap them out so they don't be able to land a card or anything against you, and then you can be able to not let them hit you, and then you can tap them out and then be able to attack them, right? So that's really what a blast cancellation, that's what you do for a blast cancellation. So what you do is, as soon as you click a blast card, you want to hurry up and do this with your hands after you use the blast card, after you see them vanish, so you can break out of that blast animation and be able to tap them out and make them not be able to land a card against you after you do it. One biggest thing about using the blast card to use priority is that they'll be able to, there's a chance that your unit can, your opponent can actually perfect vanish you, and they can be able to get a free combo off of you, and you won't be able to do anything off the blast when you try to prioritize with a blast card and make them use their vanish case. They can actually perfect vanish you and get a free combo. So hopefully when you do these blast cards, make sure that you're not trying to fish for a perfect vanish or anything, and all that stuff. So yeah, that's for blast cancellation. Now for blast matching is, say for example, like someone is trying to provoke you to use your vanish, and you just all you do is just counter out, you just balance it out with your blast, right? So you see them using a blast, and then you have a blast card in your hand, you can actually kind of like just cancel each other out, and it's really good for that. So say for example, they kind of know that you have both of your other units have their timing counts, coming down. It's not really up for them. You won't be able to switch in for, a few timer counts. So they probably might, try to play aggressive and land, use blast cards for you to use your Vanish. So you want to use there is blast cancellation. You want to time their blast cards with your blast cards, and you'll be able to evade it. And they're gonna be in a rush, and you'll be able to just waste some time for you to bring back your other units and everything like that. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. All you have to do is time the blast card with their blast card. When you see them use a blast card, use yours, and then most likely that's how you do a blast matching right there. So blast cancellation and blast matching. Let's hop into the next technique. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is drifting. Now, drifting is it's kind of like not really advanced technique, but it really gets your enemy, cautious about everything that you do, because if you're drifting a lot, it's kind of hard for them to predict what you're going to do, what I'm saying? Like, are you going to vanish, or are you going to just stay still? You're just going to put them, saying, like, they're just gonna be thinking about, all right, what is he doing now? Drifting is really, really good for that, because you don't want to be predictable in this game. If you're predictable, they can just, figure out what type of moves and styles that you like to do, right? So drifting is really, really good for that. I think that you guys should start implementing that. Don't drift too much, because sometimes they can actually catch you slipping in some of the frames. But I think drifting is really good for times where you trying to buy time for your allies sub count to go down, so you can switch over to them. And it's really good just to buy time and to just, like I said, be really less predictable, because if once your unit, there's some really good players out there that can really catch on to some of the stuff that you like to do, some of your tendencies, right? And if you're always drifting, it's kind of hard to figure out your tendencies in certain situations. So I think drifting really helps play the role with that. And if you do switch up your play style throughout the match as well, and you're drifting at the same time, it's going to really make you hard to to beat against. So I think drifting is really good. Like I said, you just drift side and backwards, front and forward. It's a lot, so it's really, really good. So yeah, I think that's really it with drifting. Let's hop on to the last thing, and let's wrap this video up. Okay, man, so that's pretty much it with this ultimate PvP guide. I kind of broke some of, like, told I think the best techniques for the game. There's a lot of different techniques that I'm also forgetting, but they're very, very for little like rare situations, right? So I couldn't really cover everything, but I felt like I covered all the really known techniques that the high ranked players like myself and other people use. And hopefully for you guys, you new players, that you guys can pick up on this. But the biggest thing that I want to say before I close this out is you have to practice this. No matter how much you watch this video, how many times you prep, if you don't go out and you don't try these techniques in real, like, experience this, you will never get better. You can watch all the guys in the world, but if you're not actually putting in the work and using these type of techniques and just keep playing the game and keep playing and gain all that experience, you won't be able to use these techniques for certain situation, and you won't be comfortable to use in this situation. Like, say in sticky situations, that full range rise and rush, you might know how to do it, but you won't be comfortable enough to do it if you never really practice it over time. So you're gonna be failing learning using these techniques at the beginning. But if you just keep playing and keep thugging it out, and once you start getting better, it's all gonna it's gonna be worth, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's with anything in life. If you learn a new skill, you're gonna fail at the beginning, but once you get that experience and get that knowledge about how to use it in certain situations, then it's actually gonna really give you some high rewards. So hopefully this video helped you out. Once again, shout out Varbar, shout out Virgil. Just subscribe to their channel, and if you guys really, really appreciate this video, drop this up, man. Not a lot of people drops PvP guides, because it takes a lot of time to do, like learn all these techniques, recording all the certain situations and stuff. It takes a long time. That's why not a lot of people make these videos. So if you really, really found this video helpful, please drop the sub, drop the like, man. Road to 4K. Like I said, if you do need some questions as well, comment down below about certain things. I'll try my best to help you out with my me replying to you guys, and hopefully my community also help you guys out as well, because we all love Dragon Ball, And we do like to welcome the new players as well, and hopefully they can get better and, you know, saying like they just love the Dragon Ball Legends game and everything like that. So once again, I appreciate you guys watching the whole video. Like, comment, subscribe, and McGriff, man. And I'm out. Peace.